Welcome to Heal into Happy. I invite you to take an adventure with me into your very own universe as I guide you to go within, release your fears, and become empowered to create a life you love. I am your host, Lark Allen. My intention is to help you shine a light on everything that is keeping you from being truly free. You can expect this healing journey to be filled with love, laughter, clarity, and fun. Are you ready to take a leap of faith? Let's go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to share all of the amazing things that Jillian Laudano has done in her life and then share her with all of you. She is an amazing friend, an intuitive, and I am so honored to have her on today. Jillian Laudano is an intuitive life coach and energy healer. She's a mom to her two kids, Maddox and Bianca, and wife to the love of her life, Eric. She's also a leader of a plant-based health and beauty company. Her holistic approach to living your soul's purpose is something she is extremely passionate about and feels honored to be able to walk with others on their own personal transformation journey. She is intuitively called to do this work and holds this divine calling near and dear to her heart. Jillian holds a degree in communications with minors in psychology and photography. She is a globally certified life and success coach through the J. Shetty Certification School, a master-level integrated energy therapy practitioner, Reiki practitioner, emotional freedom technique practitioner, sound healer, and spiritual mentor. Meditation is one of the greatest gifts she has ever received, and sharing its benefit and power with others is something she is extremely passionate about. Jillian is also a leader with a plant-based clean beauty and wellness company where she finds joy in sharing healthy alternatives that promotes self-care and self-image for the entire family. Jillian has manifested amazing things in her life, from unconditional love, massive success, happiness, abundance, and miraculous healing. She has seen firsthand the power we have within to create the life of our dreams and achieve any goals we set. She's passionate about helping others achieve their soul's purpose and live a life that lights them up from the inside out. Her goal is to shine her light, share her gifts, and always serve others from a place of love, gratitude, safety, support, and non-judgment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to have you, Jillian. You are just such a breath of fresh air, and I love that you have had such an exploratory journey with yourself and just finding new thing after thing after thing to help humanity. I love that you tap and you do the singing bowls and all of the beautiful things. And then we're also shampoo sisters. That's actually how we met. Monat brings so many people together, and I love that. We both do our vegan natural hair care together, and you also do beautiful hair and all of the things. So welcome. It is a great honor to have you.
Oh, thank you so much, Lark. It's such an honor to be here. And I love all that you're doing as well. This podcast is just at the perfect time in our world right now. So thank you for all that you do as well.
Oh, thank you. We are definitely service to the light, aren't we?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I am going to continue with Jillian, our amazing season of asking, how can we anchor in more heaven on earth? What are the things that we can do? And Jillian is going to help us advance all three of these magical questions by giving us her take on them. And I'm so excited to hear what she has to say. So we will start with question number 1. Tell me a time that you have experienced heaven on earth.
This is such an amazing question. And it's something that thinking about, because I listened to a few of your podcast episodes regarding this topic. So it had me really thinking. And I came up with a bunch, obviously, a lot of the obvious ones, the birth of my children, meeting my husband. I manifested him. That's a whole nother story.
Ooh.
There are a lot of really, really cool experiences. However, when I thought about heaven on earth, it really made me think about what does that even mean to me? And to be honest, I feel like heaven and earth are pretty much one and the same. Everything's kind of happening simultaneously. The difference for me with heaven versus earth, and this is going to get to my answer in a moment, is I feel like heaven is a complete awareness, and it is the escape from ego, anxiety, fear, all of that, because we're leaving our physical bodies behind. So with that being said, my heaven on earth are in the moments of clarity and awareness that I feel completely connected in that moment, and I feel completely supported and loved. So one that really came to mind was very interesting because, as you know, Lark, my mother had passed away when I was 28. She battled cancer for 15 years. And when she first got cancer, I was 13, and I was in a very strange state in my life, a lot of anxiety. And for 15 years, I dealt with a mother battling reoccurring metastases of breast cancer. When I was 28 years old, my getting pregnant with my first child coincided with her metastases of brain cancer. And her passing away coincided with the birth of my child. So I was very, very, very bitter, to say the least. I didn't understand why this was happening. It didn't make sense. It didn't feel good. So for 10 years after that, I was, for lack of a better word, pissed, kind of upset with the world, kind of upset with God, kind of just upset in general. Like, how could this happen to me? It just doesn't make sense. And then one day I was with a friend and she asked me something about my mother. And in that moment, it was such clarity and gratitude. And it made me realize that when I was 28 and she passed away, rather than that happening to me, that happened for me. Because if you think about it, I was given this gift of 15 extra years with her. As obvious as that might sound to the listeners, I never looked at it that way. I looked at it as I was robbed. It didn't make sense, all of these things. And in this very, very elegant moment, everything changed. And I felt this, for lack of a better word, heaven on earth feeling that I was so supported and so loved and so protected from what could have been my reality had it gone another way. So that was the best example. I mean, I have lots of those types of examples, but that was an example that literally changed the course of my present day reality now, from looking at that gift. And I wasn't given that gift until I was able to receive it wholly and really take it for what it was. I wouldn't have understood it any earlier than this. So it took 10 years. But when that happened, in that moment, I thought, wow, we are given gifts every day. They come in packages that we don't quite understand, and they may not look how we anticipated them to look, but we are supported and we are loved. So in that moment, in that present moment, I felt like God was with me, Source was with me. I felt that angelic kind of, I don't know, the free from anxiety for that moment, free from ego, free from everything. And it just like transcended my whole being in that moment. So to me, that's probably the most profound. And yeah, that's my very long-winded answer.
So I just had a whole vision of you actually, for a moment, catching a glimpse at what it would have been like if you didn't have that extra time with her. And then your heart opened and you had a whole nother level, like a whole high heart activation happened for you in that moment. Everything came whooshing in and you got an instant feeling of what it would have been like if you didn't have her there, and how brave it was of her to do all of the things, and how she, figured out all of the ways to stay with you for that time period. And then I also felt her being there with you, so excited that you were ready to receive that, and that she had been with you all of those years. A year is like a blink or a snap from what I feel like in the angelic realm, just excited for you to step into that moment and have that awakening.
Absolutely. I totally believe that when we're ready, the right things come at the right time. And it was just a moment of light. I mean, I felt light emanating off of me, inside of me, everything. It was that moment of complete elation. I just felt so excited and I couldn't believe that I didn't realize that before. But then I gave myself grace and realized
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to receive that before.
Yeah, not receiving it felt like maybe you were able to hold on to her physicality a little bit more.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So before we go on, I'm so enchanted for us going in this direction. I would love for you to talk about a little bit how you've been led on all of the different paths from hairstylist to, getting into tapping and sound healing with the singing bowls, and share more about your coaching with getting angels involved. And do you feel like all of this direction, once your heart opened up to it, has been like your mother is mentoring you?
It's so funny you say this. Yes, I absolutely agree with everything you just said. And the one common denominator of my journey, because for the listeners that might not know anything about me, I went to college for communications and psychology. That's what my degree is in. But from there, I decided that's not what I wanted to do. And I didn't even realize back then I was listening to my intuition. And I decided after graduation that I was going to go to hairdressing school, which was frowned upon by a lot of people, not my mother, not my immediate family, but a lot of people were that I went from such a high academic, college time to now I'm doing hair. So doing hair let me be creative. It was an outlet for my creativity. And I loved the communication with people, and my hands were always on other people. And I used to get feelings from the people that I was working with. Then I learned it was called being an empath, which back then I didn't even know what that meant. But I pick up on other people's energy. So doing hair was fun and creative. However, it was more of the human aspect and the spiritual aspect, believe it or not, of dealing with the people in such close proximity that I loved. So from there, I loved it, but it's a very physical business. And again, taking on everyone's energy, it was a little tiring. And as the time progressed, I've always loved working with people. Again, like I said, psychology and communications was my initial love. That my life coaching journey was always in the back of my mind, but it's scary sometimes to take the leap. So, like you said, how you and I met through our innate journey, one of our very good friends was a life coach. I started meeting more because I believe when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And suddenly all these life coaches started entering my life. And I know that's not a coincidence. So I started dipping my toe in a little bit more. Now, with all of that, I've always been extremely intuitive since I was a child. And people used to think it was really weird. Now, as an adult, I finally let that go. And you could think about it however you want. It's just part of me. It's one of my senses. Take it or leave it. So with that, again, I got very into spirituality, not religion, spirituality, healing. And I was supposed to have a surgery done a couple years ago on a hip, one of my hips. I've already had one hip done, believe it or not. Not a hip replacement. It was a dancing injury. So the other hip was supposed to be done. They showed my husband and I the MRI. There was so many infirmaries in this one hip. I couldn't believe it. And I thought to myself, this can't be happening. I need to heal myself. And then I got this horrible pneumonia for a while. It went on for 6 weeks. In that time, I had this spiritual awakening, and I kept getting the message that I have to heal myself in many levels. So I started taking integrated energy therapy classes, which is similar to Reiki, but it's working more with the angelic realm. And through that, I would do these sessions on myself daily. And I went through all the levels up to master level. And I did it more for myself, to be honest. Now I incorporate it into my coaching business and things of that nature. From there, I've gone on to Reiki as well. So everything kind of evolved organically, and just me following my intuition, I just went on the path. And I just went where it led me. And some of it didn't seem like maybe the most logical thing to do at the time, but I went with it because it felt right. And that's what I try to teach my coaching clients is tapping into your intuition, what feels good versus what your logical brain is telling you. Your logical brain has all the stories and all the limiting beliefs and all the baggage from your life. Your intuition, on the other hand, is a heart-centered way, a soul-centered way. And that's always going to lead you in the right direction of alignment. So I started, listening to what I'm preaching and followed my own advice. And it took me on this beautiful journey that I still can't believe that this is my life. It's the coolest thing.
Wow. That is so amazing. And you are co-creating heaven on earth every day by supporting people in finding their bliss and doing what sets their soul on fire and helping light people up. And you're able to do that because you did follow your own advice and decided to do all of the things. I love that so much. And I really feel, your mother's hand in all of it too, making sure that, you are reaching your full potential in this lifetime with her support.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Wow, that is such a beautiful answer to that question. And it's so multidimensional. And I feel all of the angels all around us. So excited that we're tapping into their support and guidance.
Thank you. I cannot agree more.
Okay, question number 2. Here's a magic wand, and with this magic wand, you can create heaven on earth. What is heaven on earth for you?
This one is a very interesting one for me because, again, peace and love and all of that definitely is what I think heaven on earth is. However, there's one thing, well, maybe two things actually, that I think to me heaven on earth really is, or heaven is. And like I had mentioned before, the word anxiety, I feel like that word plagues our physical human bodies. Anxiety and fear is the one thing that is preventing us from experiencing heaven on earth daily. Because to be honest, there's magic in every single day. The problem is our ego, which Wayne Dyer talks about, the acronym ego, edging God out. We feel like we need to do everything. We need to figure everything out, which in turn creates anxiety, creates stress, doesn't let us enjoy the small moments. So if I had a magic wand, it would be to free everybody from anxiety, from stress, from fear, to let the ego drift away. If those things were taken away, or at least lessened, I feel like people would be experiencing heaven on earth all the time. You know what's really funny? When I was a child, I was brought up Catholic. I don't identify with any religion now. I'm just completely spiritual on every level, but religion in itself doesn't really do much for me. But I was brought up Catholic. And when I was about 12 or 13 is when I started experiencing anxiety to the point of agoraphobia, which means you couldn't leave your house. And I would go to church simply because there was one phrase in the traditional Catholic sermon that says they will free everyone from anxiety. And I used to wait the whole Mass just to hear the priest say that because I thought maybe it will work this time. And guess what? It never did. So, but anyway, my point is that was what plagued my existence. And what I find is day to day, when I'm having those clarity moments and when I'm very, very present, I feel like heaven on earth is here all the time. I mean, if we go outside, we look at nature, we look at, birds and flowers and, all of the beautiful things, that is magical. But if we're doing that with a fear-based heart or stress about what we need to do later today, or anxiety about fill in the blank, it takes that magic from us. So if I had a magic wand, it would be exactly what that priest used to say, to free everyone from anxiety, but this time it would work.
Wow, that is the biggest gift that we could give the world. And especially with everything that is going on in our world today, I feel like that's just something that I'm going to be inspired to add to my daily prayer because it's so true. I have had anxiety myself. I've gotten myself off of anxiety medication years ago and detox myself from news because that's a huge thing that I share so much on Heal Into Happy. If you're having anxiety, get real with how much news you're taking in because it is so anxiety provoking, but it's so true. If everyone was free of anxiety, that would mean they were free of a lot of pharmaceuticals that, people treat anxiety with that takes away a little bit of the sparkle, the clarity of seeing everything for how beautiful it is. And I totally agree. I mean, just taking a walk on the beach, it just feels like God gave us the hugest gift. I mean, everything about being outside, you just feel God's love. And it's just up to us to have the clarity to step into that moment and really feel it.
I agree. And anxiety robs us of being present. And being present, that is magic, because we're not often present. We're usually thinking about the past or worrying about the future. And it's robbing us of that present moment, which is the sweet spot of our life. And trusting. I mean, there's a plaque in my office that I'm sitting in right now that says trust. And that word, I meditate on that word all the time, because that's another thing that goes with this freeing of anxiety. If you're free from anxiety, then on the flip side of that, it's insinuating that you trust that you're taken care of. You trust that things are going to be okay. You trust in the higher power, whatever you think that is, you trust. And so many of us don't trust because, again, the ego comes back in where we feel as humans, we know everything. So when we transition and we leave our human body and we transition to the spiritual world, we are not only shedding our physical body, we are shedding that ego and we are shedding that fear. That's why heaven, it seems such a beautiful place. But to be honest, I don't think it's that different from earth. I just think we experience it differently from a different perspective, which now we could see the magic and we could actually bask in the magic. Whereas here, we're letting all of the other things prevent us from really, really exploring the beauty, like you said, that is around us all the time.
That is so true. And at the core of everything that I just did a podcast with Christy, and that's what we ended up with at the end of it is just being present. And we were talking about the joy of just sitting with an orange and choosing to use all of your senses and just really like, what does the orange peel smell like? What is the taste going on all around your surroundings? Just the simple meditative process of enjoying something that is God-given and just really helps you get into the present moment, and just doing that with all of our things, like all of our daily practices. And then all of a sudden, you're constantly walking in the present moment where true freedom is and where, anxiety can't get you because you're actually letting your heart lead you instead of letting your brain, which equals the ego, and,
Right.
on and on and on. Mm-hmm.
Mindfulness.
Yeah. I like to think of heartfulness now. Like we're all really feeling into how important and magical our hearts are. And it's not just a pump like we've been led to believe. It is, intuitive, and it houses such a magical part of us that is so pure and curious, and there isn't any judgment or anything there. And it's just filled with love.
You know what that just made me think of, Lark? I can't even remember what I heard this on, but there was something that I was watching that said, when you ask somebody to say, like, who are you? Without words, like, who are you? What would you say? Everybody points to themselves, but notice where you point. It's always to your heart. You point right to the center of your chest.
Wow.
And think about that. How interesting is that? That's your intuition telling you this is who you are. You're here. You're heart-centered. And when they said that to me, I thought, wow, that is really cool. That's true. That's what we do. When you point, you don't point to your head or your leg.
No.
You point right to your center.
That is so true. It is. And I feel like that's a huge part of us creating heaven on earth, is that we are just intuitively dropping into our heart center. Everyone's talking more about living more heart-based lives and, all of the scientific findings that our heart is, so much more powerful than we thought that it was. And there's a huge awakening happening around that. I really am excited about that, because the more that we're focused there and we're living in that space, it'll be a ripple effect that will just change our whole trajectory.
I totally agree. I love that.
Okay, question number 3. What simple, easy, concrete step will you take in the next 24 hours to make heaven on earth real?
I love that. Well, last night I did something that I thought you would love. I did a virtual prayer circle and guided meditation. Again, nothing to do with religion, or more to do with love and guidance support. And I did that as a free event that people could register on my website, through my coaching website. And it inspired me. I felt inspired rather to do that. I'd never done anything like that before. I also created a new tapping video yesterday for my YouTube channel that somebody asked me to make regarding fertility. So what I'm going to do in the next 24 hours is come up with more ways that I could help people self-soothe, self-heal, I like to add to people's toolboxes because we all know that we're the only ones that can make a difference in our world. We have to be ready. We have to be the ones that are willing to do it. But some people just need a little bit of guidance. So what I found in my journey, with my coaching programs, yes, I can guide people that way, but there are some people that aren't available for that yet. So creating all of this free content that I've been doing, the feedback I've been getting has brought tears to my eyes because it's actually helping people make a difference in their lives. So I was thinking about that. I need to become more intentional with my scheduling of doing these because it's really making a big difference. And that's kind of the legacy that I want to leave, is teaching people how to help themselves. So say you learn one of my modalities, you never have to do it with me again. You know it now. It's in your toolbox. You have that in your arsenal of things going forward that you could help improve your life. Again, reducing anxiety, reducing fear, reducing all of the things that pull you out of your peace. So I think in the next 24 hours, I'm going to think about what I can do either as another event on my YouTube channel, something like that, to keep going forward with that service mission that I have in regards to helping other people feel calm and peaceful and feel balanced and aligned.
I love how empowering you are and how you are just giving back in that way. And I had an idea.
Ooh.
How about you do a tapping video that really helps us tap into activating our heart, living from our heart, something around tapping into love. And then I can link it when your podcast launches, and then that will be available for all of us to do right after we listen to this podcast.
That is a perfect idea. See, I love co-creating with people. Thank you, Lark. I love that. I'm totally going to do it.
I'm so excited. I feel like I would love to do a tapping video around love every day. Just imagine how much deeper that we can get into it. I feel like there's so many levels that it takes us a while to be able to handle that much bliss. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the deeper bliss.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
Bring it. So I think that would be so cool. And I can link your YouTube channel, and we can all of my listeners and let's take the challenge of doing Jillian's tapping video and really just tapping into loving deeper and deeper and deeper, loving ourselves, loving our communities, loving humanity, loving our planet. I just feel like that is a huge step forward of co-creating heaven on earth.
Oh my goodness. I have the chills right now. I'm so excited to do this. And you know what's really cool? When I do my tapping videos, a lot of times I'll say, if anybody has any suggestions on a tapping video, be sure to drop them in the comments. So a lot of the videos I do are based on other people's ideas. So this is perfect. This is perfect because I feel like when somebody else gives me an idea, there's got to be other people that feel the same way you do, right? So this is giving people what it is that they're wanting right now. And I'm so excited to tap on this really important topic. I can't wait. Thank you again for that idea and that inspiration.
Yay, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Well, I am so honored that you came on. And I feel like we have so many things to talk about. I would love to hear, and I'm sure my listeners would too, especially all of my single listeners, how you manifested your amazing husband. So
that's a great story. We'll definitely have to do another call for that one.
I'm going to have to, we'll have to tease everyone, and everyone comment that you want to hear how Jillian manifested her husband, and we will get her back on because I am so curious. I can't wait to hear.
It's a great story. I'm not going to lie.
All right. Until next time, everyone, Jillian and I are offering you so much love and so much light, and we are tapping into something truly blissful and magical. And I'm just so honored that you are on, Jillian. And until next time, everyone have a beautiful week.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today on Heal into Happy. My prayer is that you have gained more insight into your healing journey and that you are one step closer to loving yourself more fully in this now moment. And if you could do me a favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. My passion is empowering others on their healing journey, and with your review, you may help others struggling to heal find this message. Be sure to visit me at healintohappy.com for past episodes and more ways to connect with me. Also, please always remember that I am offering you so much love and light as I celebrate the divine sovereign being that I see in you.